What's up everybody, I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse as some of y'all may know me, and here with me, again, returning is Avrith. Go ahead and introduce yourself for those who may not know who you are.
If you are on the GameOverJesse Discord, you will know me as the High King Avrith, the only king in the server. Don't care what anyone else says. And anywhere else, well, you just see me as Avrith. And I'm the resident weeb.
The resident weeb. Yes, today we are discussing Dragon Ball Super, something a little bit different than what the normal subscribers are used to. But with Dragon Ball Super coming to an end, we only have 2 episodes left. One of the episodes coming tomorrow. Both of us are huge Dragon Ball fans, and sometimes it just gets kind of lonesome talking about Zelda 24/7, so we like to talk about our other interests from time to time. Some of you may remember the weekly Dragon Ball Super discussions that came a month or so ago, and we're trying to bring them back. So today, our discussion is more of a what-if scenario as opposed to what do we think's going to happen, because with all the spoilers that are out now, with only 2 episodes left, we pretty much know exactly what's going to happen from the synopsis given for the actual episodes. So, about a dozen episodes ago, maybe like 15 episodes, I don't really know how many episodes back it was, depending on when you watch this, Majin Buu, for like the first time ever, Mr. Buu trained, got all buff. He was supposed to be their teammate going in to the tournament, but he got tired, fell asleep, so they had to go in Frieza. So I want to know, what do you think would have happened? And everybody in the chat, let us know as well. What do you think would happen if they would have went with their original plan with Majin Buu as opposed to Frieza? Because Frieza is super powerful, especially the golden form Frieza. Very cunning and deceiving, always trying to switch sides throughout the tournament. But we forget about the abilities that Buu has. Buu, although Fat Buu, as we know him, doesn't really do it a lot. Evil Buu would always be turning people into candy, eating them, absorbing their powers, or just straight up absorbing his enemies like he did with Gotenks, Piccolo, and even for a brief moment tried to do with Vegito. So, do you think some of those tactics would have worked with the enemies as powerful as they are in the tournament? And how powerful do you think this Super Buu that we see that's like all buff after training and stuff actually is compared to normal Buu?
Well, what little we see of the trained Buu is, I'm going to call him that because we already have a Super Buu. He's evil.
So trained Buu is what you're going with?
Yeah, I'll call him trained Buu. I think personally, since it showed that he seemed to be somewhat near Super Saiyan Blue levels of power, he would have still been a useful character to have. Now, this is from what little we know. Not to mention his healing factor. That alone, I think, is probably the reason why they chose not to put him in the tournament.
Yeah, you mentioned this a while back when I first proposed this topic to you.
Yeah, but even so, I think he would have been a huge help throughout the whole thing if they could get him to concentrate. Him absorbing people, I don't know, because technically they would still be in the tournament and they would be erased eventually once their whole thing was erased and there's that power raise gone.
I mean, Buu could like cheese everybody and just absorb a bunch of people and jump off the stage himself. That way, like everyone would be eliminated with him, but like that, that's something obviously wouldn't happen because then there would be no point in the show, because you know the drama, the excitement. It's not too exciting if Buu's just absorbing everybody, but yeah, it would be like the ultimate cheese for Buu to do.
Yeah, but where we are now in the tournament, for those of you who know, we're in the final stretches. The last couple episodes are going to be out till the movie, and then we're going to see a hiatus. Will it be a long hiatus or will it be permanent? That's up for debate. Either way,
Yeah.
Boo wouldn't have been able to last this long. I'm pretty sure, as we've seen him tossed around by the likes of Beerus, when Goku is able to go up to Beerus levels right now, at this point, as far as we can tell.
Yeah. Well, maybe even I don't think we know if Beerus actually has the Ultra Instinct form.
They said I think it's actually stated that he doesn't have it mastered, but he does have it.
Yeah. So he's basically in par with the way that Goku has it now. Like, he can access it, but he doesn't know exactly how to like tap into it or like keep it the way that he does.
Yeah.
Kind of like when they first went Super Saiyan, like they were only able to go Super Saiyan for a while, and then Goku and Gohan were able to like stay in their mastered Super Saiyan forms.
Yeah. And who knows if the whole Ultra Instinct thing is going to last for Goku outside of the whole realm of Void, which is still such a cool place when you think about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think Boo would have lasted as long as Frieza, and especially not as long as 17.
Like I don't know. Like, Boo seems very like just like he wants to always have fun. He's not very focused. He's always like happy and wants to just eat or whatever. But we didn't really see what his personality was after all of this training that he did. And I don't think, we were also talking about this a little bit, like I don't think Boo would have been able to absorb some of the really strong characters. Like with Jiren especially, we've seen that Hit's like time control technique wasn't even able to hold him back. So I think just a normal absorption obviously wouldn't be able to like fully absorb him. Like maybe for like Boo would be able to absorb him for like maybe 10 seconds, like a similar situation with Vegito, but Vegeta was just so much more powerful that he was able to like not be absorbed with it. But then I think that was retconned in Super to say that they just split up. So
yeah, in Super it was just like the time limit went out instead of the magic.
But like some of the some of the characters from some of the other universes, like the B tier characters, I think they could have easily been absorbed. And then any fighting style or strategy that they could have had, Boo could have taken that on as well. Like theoretically, if there was someone as smart or as strategic as 17 was, if Boo would have absorbed him, then Boo would have gained all of those like tactics and like the not just the power from absorbing them, but all of their smart, like the brains and stuff too. So he would have been able to like strategize a bit more and like actually think about how to take them on, since if he's absorbing someone, then I would imagine he would also gain the knowledge of how to, like, the weaknesses of their other teammates.
Oh yeah,
So,
like if he absorbed the trio de danger, I think it would have affected his intelligence too, because that was the problem with Boo. His innocence made him less intelligent, which doesn't make sense to me personally. But hey,
and
whatever floats your boat.
we kind of seen that when he absorbed like Piccolo and Gohan as well. He had their intelligence to where not only was he a lot more powerful, but he was also a lot smarter and able to like actually strategize in the battle. So I think if they would have went with Majin Buu, personally, like if it was a one-on-one battle, I think it would have obviously been the better choice than Frieza. But where this was a group battle, and then I was also talking about this, the events that unfolded the way they did needed to happen almost exactly the way they did for Goku to actually go Ultra Instinct. So if Boo would have been there, then maybe like the events that happened that made Goku go Ultra Instinct wouldn't have happened. So he would have been just killed by the blast, or he would have like taken it and just been wounded, as opposed to like starting to turn Ultra Instinct. So
Yeah.
While I think he would have been a better choice on like a one-on-one type of match for this like battle royale type situation, I don't think he would have been the better choice, because while he could have absorbed people or taken people out a lot easier, he has the healing factor, which would have meant like he wouldn't have been like beaten as easily with the entire team in mind, and then knowing just how powerful Jiren is, unless he like just absorbed absolutely everybody in the tournament, I don't think he would have been able to actually take on Jiren.
Yeah, like he absorbed all of Universe 6, maybe.
Yeah, sort of like the Dragon Ball Multiverse online manga, where like I think they called him Zenbu, where he just absorbed the entire universe.
Oh yeah, which for those of you who don't know about it, I would recommend checking it out.
Yes.
On the whole Boo thing, though, there is one kind of cool thing when you think about it, though. And again, for purposes of story, yeah, it wouldn't have worked. But for purposes of if he were in there, it would be interesting. All those characters, like the sniper characters who were taking out Piccolo and Gohan.
Yeah.
If Boo was there, he could just walk through that. He'd just like, okay, there they are. Eat them.
Like the beam, like the condensed beam energy attacks would have, like, that Frieza always does with his finger. Instead of like puncturing a hole in like Krillin's heart or whoever's chest, like you see in the anime or whatever, or the games, it would just like go straight through Boo.
And he's just like, oh,
yeah,
that kind of tickled.
And then I want to get into this a bit later with whenever we go over the same thing. What if Cell would have been Boo's replacement? But if Boo was able to like make the miniature versions of himself, I don't know if he has that ability. I think I've seen
He does.
where he can make the miniature. Like I know he can. Like when he absorbed some of the characters, he would like get almost like a blob of himself on the ground, and then that blob would almost be sentient enough to where it could attack and absorb people, so Boo didn't necessarily have to like turn them into chocolate and eat them or whatever. He could just like have the putty laying on the ground to trap someone. And then in that situation, he could have done something similar to what Goku did against Jiren, where he had like the mine bombs like all over the place, and then every time Jiren took a step it would explode. If Boo did that from the very beginning with like putty versions of himself laying everywhere, so if someone gets close enough it's like an automatic absorption. Because there were plenty of weaker enemies that he could have taken on and absorbed. Like there were people that, as strong as like Master Roshi and some of the others are, there were people that they were able to take on one-on-one. So
yeah,
those people Boo would have had no issues at all trying to absorb. So
because of the lack of love given to Tien, it would have been nice. It would have been great if Boo was in that situation, because people have forgotten that each of those clones that Tien makes, he can jump his consciousness into whichever one he wants.
Yeah. That's true. Well, we need to move on so we don't go on, because I could go on talking about the same Dragon Ball topic for an hour. It's been about 20 minutes, so do you have any final thoughts on this? How to end the Boo discussion, how far do you think they actually would have gotten, and how far do you think Boo would have lasted? Do you think he would have lasted as long as Frieza do you think? Like,
I think he would have had an unceremonious end similar to Tien. Someone like Jiren would have just slapped him, or Toppo would have just slapped him right off the edge. Done. No more Boo. Next.
All right. Okay, so the final question, I guess. Boo in Dragon Ball as during the Boo arc, when he was like on par with Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Saiyan 3, like he was around the Super Saiyan 3 level of characters, and he was able to absorb people that were like, he was able to absorb Gotenks, who was a lot more powerful than he was. So who do you think the strongest character would have been that Boo could have successfully like absorbed without being overpowered or something? Like, do you think he would have been able to like take on Toppo?
No. Especially not even in his weaker form. But I think he might, and I'm going to stretch this as hard as I can, might have actually gotten to the point of Dispo on their top 3.
But Dispo was a lot faster than a lot of the characters, but in terms of like raw power.
In terms of raw power, I mean, he was powerful in his own right, being able to.
Well, wasn't he like I got the sense that Dispo was around Super Saiyan Blue level, or a little bit weaker than Super Saiyan Blue, because like Goku, Vegeta, Hit were all able to beat him. It was just he was so fast that it made up for his raw strength.
Yeah, but that would be interesting with Boo in mind. But outside of him, strong characters.
Like, do you think, even though he was on the same team, do you think he would have been able to absorb like Gohan, Goku, Vegeta, Hit, like people that we know, like their strength?
I think he would on Hit's team. I think he could have absorbed the Saiyans, but that's about it.
What about the She Broly?
Yeah, I think he could have absorbed her if she wasn't in her Broly state.
Ah, and the fusion?
And no. It took an Ultra Instinct best scene in the series to take her out.
Alright. Well, everybody that's watching, let us know in the comments below how you think Boo would have done in the tournament. And moving on to our next topic, it's from you, Avrith, so go ahead.